Hello class, it is now 5 o'clock and this is our overview of NUR322. If you have any questions and you do join in, I will be happy to answer them. In the meantime, I'm going to just do a short introduction and review of the first assignment. Because I have a orientation to class video, I am not going to go through the basics of the syllabus. I will start with the home page and let's see if I can get this to come down here. Here we go. And just a few reminders how you can get a hold of me. You may call me or text me. If you do text me, please identify yourself so I know who you are. If you do call me, I would appreciate it if you make calls before 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. I am an hour ahead of you, so sometimes if I don't see it right away, it does get a little bit late to call you back, and then I will return your call the next morning. Again, I have office hours every Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 10, or please call me if you want to talk or make an appointment with me. Just a few basics that I do want to go over and remind you for this class. You're building on your last classes. One of the things we were going to go through is the discussion rubric. So just again, as a clarification, we do have videos on this, but make sure that in your discussion post, you are including a citation with a matching reference. So if you're using your textbook, make sure that the textbook is your citation and then your reference is the reference. Make sure you're contributing and not having a quote that is more than 20%. So if you have 100 words and you have 38 words in quotes, you would lose 5 points because it falls under the 80-20 rule. Make sure that you're always addressing your classmates by their first name and using netiquette. Here is an area where you can lose points. Please go back and refresh your knowledge base about APA format. You can do that by going to the Pages tab. The biggest thing is in your citations, make sure you include the proper source, the date, and if you do use a quote, you need to include the page number as a P for if it's an article, or if it's from a website, count the paragraphs down and what is the number of the paragraphs, include that in the citation. And again, remember to post on time and answer your classmates in a different time period. All right, let's see if I can go up here now, seeing as how this is kind of in my way. Let's see if we can get this to go. Okay. The other things I'm going to go through, just a few reminders again about late work. An assignment is your written work. Quizzes are not considered late work and they may not be submitted after the due date. You do lose 10% for every day for a total deduction of 3 days. No assignments can be turned in after the third day. Once these assignments are graded, please make sure that if you have a question about your grade, it has to be done within a week of the assignment, which is in your student handbook. So if it's the third week in class and you have a question, please make sure that you have that taken care of within the fourth week. We will not be able to do anything about it if you come back in the 7th week and have questions about your assignment. So most of the other information is in the orientation to the class video. So the only other thing I was going to discuss tonight is your first assignment. And that is in week 3. And I just want to point out a few things with this assignment. This is a assessment of available complex care services. Now in your class NUR312, you looked at healthy living. This is not the same thing. So please do not confuse these two assignments. This is totally different. In this assignment, you're going to go into a community. So it could be Salt Lake, it could be Provo, it could be a smaller or a different city close to the area, or you could even go to someplace you possibly lived before, but it needs to be a community. And you need to look at what we're trying to find out is what available complex care units are in this community. So if it's a smaller community, you may have a hospital, but you don't have the higher level complex cares. And so you're going to make that as a basically assessment, just as if you were using the nursing process. What is available? Do they have an ICU, CCU, NICU, whatever? And you're going to talk about that in that area. You're going to look at what technology they have. So make sure that it's not just one comment about technology, that they have higher level related cardiac skills, but what do they have that's current in maybe the radiology area, charting, nursing, cardiology, and provide an example. So give an overview and then an example. Describe what isn't available. So in my area, there is no burn unit, there is no NICU. So in order for me to get there, I would have to either go via an ambulance or possibly plane or helicopter. So what isn't available and where will you find these located? How far is it? I know Salt Lake City has pretty much everything. So if you're doing an area outside of Salt Lake City, you need to talk about what's the distance and how would we get there, and what is missing from the area I am assessing that we would need to go to a different area. What are the barriers present? What obstacles may inhibit transition to care? So it could be distance, it could be financial, language barriers. So think of the different barriers, and do look at this word. It says barriers, not barrier. So that usually is multiple obstacle. So make sure that you have more than one. Public awareness is you're going back to your city now. How is the public made aware of what your city has available or your community that you've assessed? Do they use the internet? Do they have signs? Do they pop up when you're looking at Facebook? How are they getting the point across that they have available resources? Maybe they do health fairs, that type of thing. And then the summary looks at overall your assessed community and including both the positive and negatives. So my suggestion is that you use APA format headings, either only level 1 or level 2, and you have the introduction, then you have these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 as your headings. And that way you break it up and you know you've covered everything that needs to be covered in this paper. The paper has to be 3 to 5 pages in length. That does not include the title page and the reference page, and you have to have 2 current scholarly resources. So make sure these are scholarly, and that you can go back to the LIRN page and look at what is scholarly and what is not. So if it's a .com, that would not be considered a scholarly reference. Make sure you're using APA format and you're using proper grammar. You should have been downloaded Grammarly to your computer now, and that will do your spell check for you. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. Make sure that you do not copy and paste. If it's in quotes and it's copied, or if it's not in quotes and it's still copied, it has to be over 20% can only be quotes or not within your own words. So that's basically what you'll be doing for week 3. The rest of your assignments are talked about in future videos. So if you have any questions, please definitely feel free to contact me. One other comment I do have is when we do put your grades, and I don't want to go to the grade book because there are names there, but I will give you feedback on your discussion and on your assignments. Please read the feedback and please read the rubric. And then if you have any questions, please email me and not put the question in the grade book, because we don't always see that, and it will generate in a report, but that report does not come every 24 hours. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 days. And so it may look like I'm not paying attention to what you said. It's just I do not know that you had made a comment in there. So please email me or call me instead. So go back to the home page here and see if anybody has joined in, and no one has. So I'm going to end this brief video, and I'm hoping you enjoy this class. I think it's a great addition to your medical surgical knowledge background. It adds to it. We kind of do it, some things thinking outside the box. So hopefully you will enjoy it, and it will add to your NCLEX also knowledge base. So see you online.